It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Gun Show. We come to you live for about 90 minutes each weekday, broadcast on YouTube and simulcast over on gunchannels.com, where we watch all the comments from everyone coming in live. And one of the reasons that the show was started was for its interactivity with the live audience. We also appreciate everybody that is watching us later. We appreciate everyone, all the feedback from everyone, and everyone that is subbed and supports all the channels. All the chat hosts that we have, all the content creators, they put in a lot of work and effort, so make sure you check them out and check out gunchannels.com. It is Monday, September 11th, and we have hosts today. Jimmy coming in from Arizona. We have Bob from Canada.
Hey, glad to be here.
And G-Web's coming in from, I believe, Illinois.
Yeah, pretty much Chicago.
Cool.
Right now.
Usually we like to start the show with anything that happened overnight. Well, it's Monday, so over the weekend or in the wee hours of the morning. On my end, pretty much we just did had a pretty good conversation at the end towards of the early watch about gun advice and stuff like that. So that was a pretty good one today. You guys got anything that happened over the weekend or anything you want to talk about?
Well, not me. I was kind of just working on the camper.
Yeah, I met up with Dano here in Illinois, and we went to a gun show yesterday, Sunday, and checked that out. It wasn't a huge show, so we had plenty of time to chat with the people there and hang out. And then when we pretty much exhausted the show, we headed over to we went to one gun shop on our way to a second gun shop, got some lunch and stuff. So we had a pretty good day. We'll be doing the reviews coming up. I'm gonna see if I didn't ask him, but I wonder if we can get Dano to come back on the show, do some of those reviews of the stuff that we hit together.
Oh yeah, that'd be real cool.
And I think I'm gonna have some time now to check out some other ones. I drove past R Guns today. Isn't that like an online gun seller? The letter R and then guns.
I don't think I've ever visited that one before. I've never heard of that one before. Like Toys R Us, kind of, R Guns.
Yeah, exactly. I thought I've heard of them as being like one of the big online wholesalers where they have stuff cheap, or maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. But let's see. So I'm looking at the thing, and it says we only got 5 people watching. Is that correct? Since we're 3 of them, that means there's 2 people watching our show. So that's sad.
I got 6 over here, so 1 more.
Yeah.
So hopefully something's wrong. So it looks like we got more people than that over on Gun Channels. Now they might just be listening to or watching the chat over there on Gun Channels. Who knows? But we do want to thank people. Like Jimmy said, the whole point of the show is the interactivity, and we move the schedule so during the traveling and stuff, we can do the show more towards the beginning of the day and do our traveling towards the end of the day. Yeah, let's see. We're gonna give it some time to get some traction or not, and we're going to put the call out there to people that are watching now to let people know about it. Let people who you know might be listening at lunch or I don't know, just have this schedule off, like work nights or something. But yeah, help get the word out. We'll see if we can't get some the more people listening, the more conversation we have in the chats.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess with that, we could jump into the show a little bit. Today we have This Week in Review, how to use social media and events.
Yeah, so we don't have much in here. So as far as reviewing the week, we do our daily stuff. We'll be doing Second Amendment stuff tomorrow, State of the State. Then we've got Wednesday is our entertainment day with our good idea, bad idea, and our entertainment topics. On Thursdays, we'll do CCW and training. And then on Fridays, we usually talk about gun tech and the gun business. So that way we kind of cover the spectrum of stuff that we're most interested in, the creation of content and sharing your gun-related hobbies with every people, the Second Amendment itself, Second Amendment as far as, you know, the enjoyment we have from it, the recreational aspect, and then the you know, the important aspect, the personal security aspect on Thursdays, and then on Friday we talk about the industry. So not a typical show where we're listening to, or we're, you know, being directed by the you know, the news of the day or anything like that. We try to hit these topics each week. So if you have any ideas for actual topics, specific topics for these segments, then please feel free to email us at dailygunshow@gmail.com. Again, a good portion of the show is created by the listeners and the people that interact with the show in the various ways. So we'll be probably having to figure out a new scheduling show schedule. Maybe we can do that on a day when Smeggy's around, and you know, schedule the show out. And if you guys got some time, maybe we can do a weekday one here, maybe tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah, that'd be cool with me.
So, what was I going to say?
All right, well, now we got it there, right? So we'll keep moving. Sorry, I'm in Chicago, so I'm eating pizza, real pizza, not your like cheese breads that the rest of you people call pizza, but actual pizza. And that takes a little time to chew. So that's what I was saying. All right. So how to use social media. We don't really have a topic in there, so we should probably come up with something today. Normally we would, like I say, kind of depend on or use the comments from the chats out there. I guess I can go ahead and close this window and start clicking on this window and actually look at not the lobby, huh? All right, good. I was looking at the lobby before. All right, so no, Tony lives in Illinois. He knows what pizza is. It's not pizza shaming. It's pizza. What is that? That's more like pizza awareness, like just not hiding the real pizza.
Pizza praise?
Not praise, just awareness. Like, anyway. So so like, you know, like if you go eat a McDonald's hamburger or something, or Burger King hamburger, and then you go to like your own house and make a hamburger, there's a difference, right? That's the difference. Everything y'all are eating is McDonald's, and these are like the real deal.
Don't be fooled by your local pizza shop, people.
If you have to eat it with a fork, it ain't pizza. See, that's crazy talk. If you don't need a fork, then it's a snack.
Yeah.
Gangland pizza? I don't know. This is Gangland pizza? I don't think so. Anyway, so okay, I guess I'm bantering with the pizza chat over there, but we're supposed to be talking how to use social media. So if we got any ideas for social media there, what have you guys been using lately as far as you know, the various platforms that are out there? You guys exploring anything new besides the Vimeo that everybody's been jumping over to?
I did sign up there. There's somebody actually following me already, so I don't have any videos there, but
yeah, but it's just like YouTube. You have to have an account in order to comment and to make a useful like or whatever it is, a thumbs up or something. So there's going to be a whole bunch of people that have accounts there that aren't creating content, right? That's just how these platforms work.
Yeah. And it takes a while. I mean, I got to figure out how to transfer videos over there or whatever it is you do.
Yeah, I really like that VidMe. I don't know why though. I'm at 49 followers now, and they denied me again for the second time. So I don't know what's going on.
You need 50.
Well, yeah, I know that, but still, so super close.
So literally one person here who's listening could go over to VidMe and like Jimmy's, so that would put him over that threshold, and he'd be able to move along with
one guy or gal.
Anybody. Or somebody could create another account real quick.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. But yeah, I mean, for social media, I don't know. I mean, yeah, there's that. I don't know. I guess what I used to use social media before I was like creating content or anything, I was pretty much just on YouTube. I would watch like little stupid training videos or something like that, and then go out to the mountain or something and try to recreate it or something, kind of do like a drill type of thing. I don't know.
I've been hanging out with people, all different kinds of situations here on the trip, and I'm hearing a lot about Skype. So do you guys use Skype? I don't know if that's so much a platform or it's just a communications channel, but I suspect it's like more than just the two-way communication, right? There's probably some I don't know, access areas or something you can log into and see what the newest thing on Skype is or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never used Skype.
Yeah, I haven't either. I mean, we always use this, obviously. So Skype seemed kind of too restrictive. We can only go back and forth between two people, I think.
Yeah, that's the way I understood it. So,
but what about that Steam one?
I thought that was along the lines of the same thing where it like restricted you to how many people you could have in it.
I think so. I think that's more of like for somebody like doing like one of Matt's or Yankee shows when they just do the Q&A type of thing, like where it's just one person streaming and then people can view it though live. Where Skype, it's just two people communicating with each other. There's no audience, right? Or can there be an audience on Skype? Because if there's an audience on Skype, then I'm sure they have a kind of a platform to let people know where those shows are that they can watch and where to find them. Yep. What about the Snapchats and the other video posting ones?
Well, see, back to the Skype, I was trying to think about what I saw, and it was somebody was on. There's been a couple of Skype videos, but they use that like it has a separate encoder, so Skype doesn't go live, but they could use the encoder to stream the Skype through that, I guess. So I don't know. I was trying to think of what it was called.
Open Broadcaster.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool stuff. I could maybe even screen share it here, but it's software that's free, so it's not freeware. It's open source, so it doesn't give you a bunch of ads or anything. It's just geeks built it and wanted to leave it for everybody, so they made it freeware. So it's just a matter of downloading it. You can find it on your YouTube video manager. There's actually a link to it in the live section there because they recommend you use it. There's also paid versions of not the same software, but same software that does the same thing, that accomplishes the same thing. You can pay for the software if you really want to. I've just never used the paid stuff. But this the concept of what Jimmy's talking about is you can run one application on your computer, whether it be Skype or Hangouts or really anything. And then you run this open broadcaster, and then it'll basically watch your screen and your microphones and your camera, and it'll rebroadcast whatever it is that you're doing on your computer to whoever it is you stipulate. So what I'll do sometimes is open up Google or YouTube, I guess, and then open up the open broadcaster and use the live streaming on YouTube to watch the open broadcast stream, and then I would tell the open broadcast to watch Facebook or I don't know, something else we're doing, or even just screen capture. When I was playing with the that little puppet I made with the cartoon puppet, that uses the open broadcaster too. So it doesn't even need to be really like a Skype or a Google Hangout or anything that's designed for communication. It could literally just be a program on your computer, and you can then share that with everybody. So that would be good for like tutorials. Or if you think about it this way, if you're having trouble with something on your computer and you can master sharing your screen with the world, then if you're having trouble with something, you can just share your screen either in a Hangout like this or out to a Skype or one of those other platforms, and then tell people, show them whatever you're doing. Like, I'm doing this and this and this and this is happening. Can you help me? And that's a heck of a lot more information than you trying to remember everything that happened on the screen and then relay it to whoever it is, and then them having to interpret it all. If they can just watch what you're doing, that could be a lot quicker way to get some things done. Obviously, watching like pictures of the grandkids or something would be good that way too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, see, I didn't know that you could pretty much broadcast anything on there. That's actually really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat software, and it's kind of neat. There's something We're going to keep out there. This is fun. So I'm going to, hands-free, I'm going to see if I can screen capture. I stole a second monitor here. So I kind of feel like I'm at home, but it's in the wrong place. So it's a little weird, a little awkward. But let's see, this screen captured, right? Now you're looking at the gun channels? Yeah. So now I can open up Open Broadcaster. Let me see. If I do this, does it bring the toolbar onto that screen? Yeah. So then if I go up to Open Broadcaster, it's in here somewhere. So it's just a program that runs on the computer. You see it there?
Yeah.
So for this case, if I can get it, this here is the Hangout that we are all in. This is Open Broadcaster, a separate thing. Oops. Is a separate thing. We'll close this. And now when I go in here to set it up, I would just go in, and right now it's set up to go to YouTube. And I would get the number to set that up with, like it's asking me for stuff. When I go into the settings here, it says it's set up for YouTube to live stream, and it's going to their primary server, and then it wants this key. Well, how do you get that key? So if you go back to wherever I stuck, let's see. Like I say, it's a little different. My mouse keeps going to the wrong side of the screen for stuff. And of course, the computers take a long time. Are we still connecting? Yeah. There. So we go over to live stream. And whenever it opens up, I must have slow internet. Normally, we would click on events down here. But instead of clicking events, you stay on this live streams page. And then you scroll down a little bit, and you keep scrolling down, you keep scrolling down, and there's that key that we need. So I'll be able to take that key, right, copy it, go over to the Open Broadcaster and just paste it right here. And then whenever I was done with that, I'd say, okay. And now the Open Broadcaster is got a connection on the outside going to the input of YouTube streaming. So now what do I look at? So then I go over here and I choose what I want it to look at. And that's what I just want to show you. Is I can either have it capture a whole monitor, I can have it capture a separate thing, like I had the puppy puppet, or I had E2, I made an Every Second Matters mouth puppet. And then you might have text, like introduction to a video or something. So you can basically toggle these things on, sort of like being in a, I don't know what they call that, like a production studio or something. So I can preview my stream, which I'll do now. And right now I have my stream set to monitor this whole monitor. So I'm going to unclick that and everything will disappear. Now if I said, why don't you go to my puppy puppet, I don't know if it's on this computer, it probably isn't, or that, yeah, it's not showing them. So there's the secrets, that's capturing this monitor again, the other monitor, I guess. So let's clear that one, that's all our show secrets. Let's go to this monitor, and then I'll see if I can put that puppy on there. No. Mouth, no. Anything else? No. So I don't have a great demo for you here, but basically they would lay, these are all layers. So if the thing is down here, all this stuff's on top of it. If it's up here, all this stuff's underneath of it as far as stacking it on the screen. So let's say I wanted that puppy puppet to be up on top of everything. That's why I have it at the top of this list. And let's say I had the monitor set to something else, you know, so this was just a green screen, or this was gonna take to Facebook or something as the input. Then I could lay this puppy on top of it. So it's kind of powerful stuff, and there's not too much to it. When you're done, you click stop preview, and then when you click start, if everything's hooked up right, it just literally goes live to YouTube right there. So you would have, let's say I wanted to add something new over here, and I wanted to add the Hangout that we're in, where did I put it? Am I still in a Hangout?
Yeah.
Okay. Go find this Hangout. So let's say I wanted this Hangout, because the 4 of us or 3 of us are in here, I wanted that to be part of it. So I can just right click and say add, and I'm going to go with, you know, I got all these different things. Why don't we go with window capture, and then it'll take, let's say chat, call it something, and then it'll want to know which Hangout or which window. So then we'll just flip it to Google Hangouts Chrome, and then we can tell it if we want the mouse to happen or not, like if you want to be able to see the mouse. If we want to be able to see stuff in front of it or not. If you want to just use a portion of the chat, so let's say we've got this whole chat window, but I don't want them to see all our comments over there. So I'm going to say region of the chat, and then I'll select this region. And obviously I'm not doing this as a tutorial as much as a overview, so you can kind of see what's going on here. But I could take that section of the screen only and say okay. And now when we go over, and then I say okay, and then when I go over here to the preview, it's seeing this whole chat window, right? But minus this. So our comments would be remain secret over there. So anyway, I think that's kind of neat. And I don't know if that was more confusing or not, but basically it really is powerful over here to let you decide what you want to see. You can set up scenes, so you can set up a show or a live event or something. Let's see, let's keep this off of the screen because that gets everybody freaked out when they see everything in here. And we could probably stop screen capturing. So again, I don't know if that's more confusing or not, but it was just more of an overview. That software runs separate, and it's all pretty modular. So you can plug whatever you want into it, post it, let it stream to whatever really you're into, and that allows you to get the same room up on Facebook, or it allows you to do stuff on Facebook, or I don't know, those other things, or YouTube, or like I say, you can sometimes set it up so that you can have people in a Facebook, whatever it's called, live over there, with people in Skype and people on Hangouts, literally all joined together using that open broadcast. And then of course that would all be broadcast to someplace even more, someplace different.
Yeah, that's definitely good information to have, because what was it? It was like maybe 6 months ago, something like that, when we were all having problems with the Hangouts, and then Night Strike walked me through the whole encoder thing. And yeah, it was definitely good information to have if, you know, Google were to fail or something were to fail somehow, trying to do one of your streams or chats or, you know, whatever people do out there. It's a good backup.
The show is talking about you know, how to use the internet behind the scenes. So if we're talking to people who are creating shows or maybe have yet to create shows, and I've heard people be hesitant to start doing something like a live show because they want theirs to be different, or they want theirs to be better, they want theirs to stand out somehow, which is fine. I totally understand that, but I hesitate to say, yeah, just wait forever until everything's perfect, because then nothing ever happens, right? So instead, consider maybe mastering some of that software, because you might be able to add some production value to your videos without much cost and without much extra effort, really, other than learning what the power or the potential is of that open broadcaster. Because so many of us that are doing the live stuff either started when it first started, so we're all doing it kind of the old way, let's say, or you're one of these people that learned from us who did it the old way. So you're doing it the old way, and you might not even realize you're doing it an old way because you just think you're doing it. You know, you don't know that there's multiple ways. But I see very few, maybe I just haven't seen them, but I see very few people using the newer software there, because you can really do some neat stuff. Think of like a TV show with like the weather person, how they can do green screen and stuff. I mean, we don't see very many people doing live stuff with all that running, and that's definitely available to you.
Oh yeah, even that animation software, all that stuff coming out. I mean,
the animation stuff is pretty expensive. I'm sure there's cheaper versions of it, but yeah, that's the kind of thing. Put some extra effort into it, and then boom, you've got something with that software. You can really make something look like a lot different than everybody else is doing. So maybe that gives somebody some incentive to jump out there and think about it. And if you do, we encourage you to not only create your content, but also consider sharing with the other people how it is you came to the decisions that you made for the software you're using, the settings, and the way you set it up. You'll find every time I do something like that, I find that there's people out there who also have used the software or are familiar with it, have interesting suggestions, or let me know about things I didn't know it could do. And again, that's, I think, a big half of it, or a big part of it, is not just what we're talking about, but how we're talking about it. At least in this segment of the show, I like to focus on the nuts and bolts of it. Share that as much as your gun content, because you never know when somebody's right on the fence about, oh, I think I will start doing some online content. If it was just easier to do XYZ, and then what do you know, 2 days later, you're telling them how to do XYZ a little easier, and now we've got somebody, another ally on board on the internet posting good 2A information.
Yep.
Well, and that's we're here. This is what part of what this show's about is to share information and let people know what's available out there as much as we can. Anyway.
All right. Well, I think with that, we might as well have killed that segment unless there's. I think I killed all my windows, so I'm desperately trying to find all my windows again. Here we go. Skype started as an online phone app. Yep, that's what I got the impression. It was like just a way of video call, right? Looks like Jimmy's got his 50 followers. You're welcome.
See how that works there, people?
Oh, Ghost is saying that you can get a bunch of people on a Skype call, so that's good to hear.
Yeah.
And we're up to 13 watching, so thanks for everybody who jumped in.
Yeah.
Or at least the people that logged on with multiple accounts.
You're welcome.
Just can't put down this thick pizza. It's incredible. I'm pretty sure they put heroin or crack or both into it because it's so awesome.
That's how they get people to come back.
Yeah.
Well, I guess with that, we could move on usually between the second. Oh, what's that? We're taking fire, fellas. I guess that means
Take cover.
time for some kind of quiz. So today, I made the mistake of checking the email on a Sunday and saw that we actually had some people shooting some questions in there. So I will be sprinkling those in, but I actually did some of the questions on a Sunday morning before I checked. So I got some of my questions and some of other people's questions. Today, we'll be doing one of mine. So crack your knuckles, get your keyboards ready, and here we go. What was the first two armies to adopt the Glock 17 and what years? What were the first two armies to adopt the Glock 17 and what years?
Glockenstein.
Hand says 42. That's wrong.
What's going on? How come I can't hear this?
Nazi Germany?
No.
Knives said Estera 1987. No.
It's weird that I can hear this, but I can't hear that. Can you guys hear the countdown?
No, I can't hear nothing.
Yeah.
Angry, you're part right. Check the YouTube side, nothing. Angry, you're part right. But the question was, what were the first two armies? You want one more? And you're actually technically wrong. I don't got the TikTok sound effect. Hold on.
I was looking for it. I can't get it to play.
Yeah,
Norway, but no year.
no year though. If anybody was over on gunchannels.com right now, Angry's piecing out the answers if you were to put them all together. No. Angry, you're partially right. I'll give you the 82 for Austria, but Norway is a different year. So anybody on Gun Channels right now could have just took all of Angry's answers and pieced them together and made one, minus the Norway year. And I'll explain why in a minute. I'll take 82.
Because it looks like a different year than what you had in there.
Yeah, it is. It is. But production for that reason for Austria technically started in 82, so I can see how he got that confused.
And also the payoff.
Yeah. Well, see, what happened was that they were having trials, and Glock offered to come in a lot cheaper than SIG did, so they picked Glock.
Well, that's a long time to go without answers. So I guess we're not getting answers.
Yeah, and Norway 85 is still wrong. So I guess we'll let you guys sit on this one because this has been going on for a minute here. We could have another 20 minutes of dead air, I guess.
Well, and we know why Glock was able to come in cheaper than SIG, right? Because it's made from recycled Tupperware.
Well, it's made for $75. Yeah. So SIG was a company that had to mill and machine and harden and coat. And Glock looked at the process and said, that's a heck of a lot of work for the insignificant parts, for the parts that do nothing but, fill space for the parts that actually function. So he looked at it from a more practical side and a production side, I'm sure, where SIG was made from think about it, the evolution of a gun company. And this was all in the book, Glock, The Rise of America's Gun, and why I find it so interesting, because Glock starts the discussion, but the discussion is about manufacturing. You start with, somebody designs a gun or something, and then some company comes along and says, yeah, we'll make that gun in mass production. Well, is it the same gun? No, of course not, because they have to, they will change the parts in order to make them more easy to facilitate mass production, right? So if the guy has a crazy intricate little thing that's kind of unnecessary or can be done a different way, and it makes the machining process cost tons less time and effort, the gun costs less time and effort. So inherently it's going to be a version of his gun that's made for mass production, right? But then that gun is established, and now years go by and it's either successful or it's a failure. And if it's a success, years go by and then people insist on innovation. We can't sit here using the same gun, make it different. So then they evolve that gun. Now maybe every once in a while they'll come along and they'll say, okay, we're taking it to a different caliber, a different thing, or changing it significantly. But for the most part, these guns evolve. But when you look at a company, how much do they evolve? They are sitting there with a bunch of mills and a bunch of drill presses and a bunch of lathes and whatever else they've got. And then they're tasked with coming up with a new gun. Are they going to start from scratch, or are they going to start with what they can make? And that's what happens is your Berettas all look like Berettas and your SIGs all look like SIGs. As far as, can you make more noise? As far as I guess you can't. Get up. As far as the amount of time and effort they put into all those different parts, they're basically the same gun. So it's until Glock came around and said, that doesn't all have to be metal, that could be done a lot quicker. Then guns time changed a bit, but that's where, SIG was making a gun out of metal, had to go through all that processes, all those machinists to polish and warp and change and whatever they do to the metal. And then the gun's going to cost hundreds of dollars when it's all done, even at a good rate to the military without much profit. You can only make that gun, so cheap, where a Glock, most of it is coming out of a plastic machine like Bob likes to yell about. And that makes a $75 end product. So they can afford to sell that gun for much less and still make more profit than the SIG. I think that's pretty neat.
Well, it was innovative. I'll give them that. But it's still
a different way to look at the process. I mean, it's sort of like the new vehicles. Every once in a while you see a new vehicle, and instead of just being, another Mustang or whatever, or like a Mustang that they force to put emissions controls into, you get like the Tesla, where I don't know, maybe the Tesla's not a good idea, but something where, you guys can think of a better innovative car, but where they'll just say, let's start with 4 wheels, and then that's the only similarities. Like, what else do we need to keep? Nothing. Let's just start from scratch.
The Nissan Leaf.
Yeah, so I guess no one's gonna get it.
No, so we'll just say the answer is because whatever, right?
So the answer is, I'll post the link real quick for the Glock timeline, which you will have a hard time finding on Google, but the answer was Austrian Army, 1983, and Norwegian Army, 1984.
And this is kind of neat because they've had this up for a while and they've been around for a while. So this is straight from the horse's mouth, at least what their version of history, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's coming from Glock, so I guess, yeah. It's
Yeah,
their
but
version.
it's official. I mean, whether or not it's right or wrong, it's official. So it's not like you made up the numbers now or the dates or whatever.
Yeah. So cool. No one is the hot shot today.
That'll happen when Glocks are involved. People can't keep up with the Glock knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not one of those guns that really has a real history like the High Power or the 1911.
1911, okay, but the High Power's history is like, I'm going to make this gun. Nah, I'm going to die. Nah, my kid will make it. Nobody liked it. Bobby keeps talking about it.
Yeah, it's the longest serving handgun in the world.
The 1911? I believe it.
The High Power has been one of the longest sitting on the shelves at my local gun shop gun in the world for quite some time.
Uh-huh. Still used by militaries today.
All right. I guess we could move on here. Usually between the breaks, we focus on somebody. I don't know. Do you want to do anybody from Patreon today and keep that going for a little while?
Yeah, let's do that. So I think I can screen share again and get to this monitor. I'm used to my monitor being to my right, and now it's over at the top. So it's just weird to get used to moving my mouse to the right and having it pop up there. Patreon. All right, so we will scroll down here, and there we go. So let's see, we've done Never Enough Ammo course, See an Arsenal. I don't know if we talked about them before. In Range, got Yankee. Freedom Tunes, I think we talked about last time. Jimmy has a show up there, or an account. What do you call it? I guess a Patreon page up there for the early watch, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
We've got one for the show. Night Strike's got one. Just for things in general, I guess, and the hit or miss. Then we've got one for the AK one, which does bring in some support, but we need to concentrate on that more. I was hoping, I've talked to Mark Krebs. I'm probably, right now, you know what, I could probably walk to Mark Krebs' house almost from where I'm at right now, or his place. But I'll see if I can't get over there. He gave me an invite to come by and BS. So we are still actively pursuing the AK-47 one, but with $70 a month coming in, that's about how much pursuit I can give it, you know what I mean? Then we got We Like Shooting in there, Military Arms Channel. This indie is it really that forgotten, no, what is it called? Hidden War? Forgotten War? What's it called, Bob?
The Great War.
Great War.
Yeah, Great War.
We've got Travis, who does the Saturday show over on Gun Channels. Hitter, what is it? Caliber Corner. Then Clover Tack does 3 different shows over on Gun Channels, plus his YouTube channel and his Facebook efforts. And more. We got Heavy, who's doing, I don't know if he does a show anymore. Can you ask Heavy? You're in the box there?
I haven't talked to him, so I don't know.
He's not sleeping in that little cardboard box?
No, he moved out and got his own place. He spread his wings and fly.
Now, does that mean like he lives above the garage or like in the garage?
We got a nest for him in the rafters in the garage.
Then we got Historical Firearms. I don't know what that one is. I think that is most of these last ones. And that's why I started to do this segment during this show is are people that I found as I was thinking about the Patreon platform. There's 1 million people that use the Patreon platform every month to support different things. There's 50,000 people creating content on Patreon. So those are interesting numbers to me. And I figure if anybody does come along and just uses the platform as a place to surf, a place to browse and see what's going on out there, and if they decide to scroll down and say, oh, this channel is interesting or whatever, who are they supporting? I wanted them to see the other gun-related channels that are out there. So I can't say that I've seen all these, but that's why we started doing this segment of the show, is to help get the word out about all these guys. So we got Ghost. Why don't we go with Ghost, since it's at the bottom? and we'll just kind of work our way up here as we've got time over the next few days or weeks. So Ghost Tactical is out of Arkansas, and he's a member over on Gun Channels. He's got a YouTube account. Actually, he's on pretty much all the social medias, and now on the VidMe. And been an active participant ever since he joined Gun Channels. So I can't say enough good things. He's eager to meet up as we were driving through that region, but just the circumstances with the water pump and stuff, we weren't able to. But looking forward to meeting up with him eventually. I do have some plans for Little Rock, Arkansas, and so I should be back there someday, sooner than later, I hope. And plan to meet up with him then. But till then, he does the show on Tuesdays, correct?
Yeah, Tactical Tuesday.
And I know he's a guest on lots of the other shows. So yeah, consider supporting him over on Patreon for a couple of reasons. Your money is your power, right? So we all know that. We've heard that a million times. But I think people tend to take that for granted or just not pay attention to it. And then you sit around thinking, oh, I wish I had more power in the world. Well, you certainly do. And this is the time when $1 can be very effective. So yeah, you give $1 to the NRA or I don't know, cancer research or something, and you're basically going with I'm throwing another $1 in, the drop to create the flood. And that's definitely the case. And that's necessary, and it definitely works. I'm not downgrading that at all. And I encourage everybody to support the very large organizations, even if it's just $1 or so occasionally. But when you were talking $1 going to an individual creator, I can tell you as an individual creator, that is not just the $1. It is the fact that somebody's willing to put $1 down gives you an encouragement and a drive that you can't get with just an anonymous 100. I care more about the 100 people that support me on Patreon who are putting money where their mouth is and who are real, I can assume, are interested enough to actually see me continue to create content than the 160,000 subs on YouTube, which I don't know who the hell any of them are. I know what dozens of you maybe, but the other 160 are probably squiggly line names in other countries or somebody trying to do something or somebody that was on YouTube for 15 minutes one time 6 years ago. So I really think Patreon is, you're giving a more direct line of support or show of support to a creator. And I don't think Clover is necessarily needs the moral support or anything, but obviously when he's sitting there thinking, hey, should I spend time this weekend doing this, or should I not face getting yelled at by somebody and spend some time doing yard work or something, you might be again able to give them some incentive to turn the camera on again. And same thing with all these creators, but again, the smaller individual creators that are just doing it for the interest in sharing and collaborating with people, I think that your same dollar goes a lot further with the individuals than it does with some of the, making $17,000, what's another $1? But if you're making $100, $1 is pretty significant.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and we can all use encouragement once in a while.
Liquid or otherwise, right, Bob?
Yep.
So I also want to say thanks to Clover for bringing over everybody, including, damn it, why did this run down, Ghost, and the others, because I know that they've all been came in as a group, and I'm hoping that their enthusiasm will bring even more people in. So again, thanks to all those guys for being so active lately on Gun Channels.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's something I really noticed the last few nights when I've gone on Gun Channels is those guys are in there chatting. We were actually, I think it was Ghost was in there chatting with, and Hatfield was in there talking with Flath. Like we were going till 2 a.m. I finally had to say, okay, I gotta call it because I gotta get up early.
Early meaning noon for his show.
Hey, it's 11 o'clock here when we do it. Means I have to get up at 10:30.
All right. Well, that was our segment between the first and segment where we feature one of the members over at Gun Channels this week. We're featuring some of the members over on Patreon too. Encourage you to support them. That was sort of this weekend, how to use social media, I guess. So now we'll be heading into events. Stop that. Are we still in here?
Yeah,
Stop
you're
it. Stop it.
Getting to listen to you abuse your poor puppy.
You can't hear him, like whatever he's doing to himself down there. Disgusting. I don't want to hear it. So we're over on the, I think I'm screen sharing again. We're on the main page of Gun Channels, and we're looking at the about halfway down the main page there. You'll get this list of upcoming events. If you want to create an event over on Gun Channels, if you go up to resources, at the top of any page, you're going to find resources and then firearms calendar. Once you open that up, this place over here, you can click to create one of the events over here. We encourage you to post events for anything you might participate in or enjoy attending, or you want to attend it, or you're just even aware of it. For lots of reasons, it's beneficial to the event and to the humans, the people that are over here on Gun Channels that are might see that. You never know when somebody's going to be traveling or talking to somebody who lives in another area. So even if a member of Gun Channels doesn't live in, so-and-so, wherever you're posting an event from, they might know somebody there and be able to text them and say, hey, I just found out about something happening in your area. So it's always worth posting stuff, and it makes this segment of the show more interesting. So each week we look at the calendar over there, and we take a look at what's happening. So it looks like I'm going to talk about the, what did I go to this weekend? The bullpup shoot. So ended up going out there with Pink Panther from Gun Channels, drove all the way out there. That was 9 hours for him. Met the Everyday Civilian, who's an Instagrammer. It was a 5-hour drive from him from Michigan. Met up with Krebs, who's in Illinois, and another guy on Instagram, El Tienda. And those guys probably 2-3 hour drive. So this place was in the middle of no place, basically where Illinois and Iowa and Wisconsin all come together on the Mississippi River. It was right in that area. It was closer to that than anything else. It was definitely a drive. It was at a place called The Site. That's the name of it, The Site, which is a really nice shooting facility, but it's not open to the public except for events like this, and then for classes. So if you took a class, you'd be able to attend this place. But I guess that's probably a good and a bad, because it's a nice place, but it's impossible. It's horrible to get to. It's not like just off the highway in the middle of nowhere. It's in the middle of nowhere in the middle of nowhere. So it's kind of an ordeal to get to it. But anyway, it was an interesting event because the place is so cool. It's kind of rolling hills, and buildings and stuff are all kind of hidden from trees and the hills and the way the ranges are set up. So you can hear it when you're there, but as you drive up, you really don't hear it. The terrain keeps the sound like pointed up probably. So a very interesting place and a large event. I would say we'll have pictures, I'm sure, and I'm sure Pink has showed some. Actually, Pink might have pictures up now, and I could just go click on those. We'll click over to Pink's.
I actually managed to get Dano to go to a bullpup shoot.
No, he didn't go. He was down at Tactical Response taking a class.
Oh, okay,
So
right.
he physically couldn't even go. So this is some of the photos that Pink took. I don't know where that was, but that's my dog. That's a big tower. You get the idea. It's like big green hills, and you can't really see everything. Like there's probably a range over here. You can barely see. There's this little berm here from that tower shoots towards that berm. There were some people set up there. You can see they had their booths set up so you could put your hands on the guns and stuff. Is that it? Yep, I guess that's it. So I guess that's not a heck of a lot of pictures of the event, but let's see. There was probably a dozen or more people set up at the top of the area, which and it was kind of as you parked and signed in your waivers or whatever, and then as you went down to the shooting area, you could shoot the various guns. So it was no cost to come in, and it was kind of like a gun show up top because you could buy stuff. There was stuff for sale. It was like patches and backpacks and different tables of stuff. And then, of course, a couple of manufacturers like Mark Krebs and others were there to answer questions or talk or whatever. And if you're a content creator, you could have definitely done videos there. There were people creating content there. And then, like I say, if you wanted to, you could walk down the hill or over the hill or whatever and shoot. And there was all kinds of stuff to shoot. And it wasn't free there. You paid for the ammo, but whatever. I mean, you paid for the ammo. So it's sort of not really renting, but basically getting an opportunity to shoot stuff that you might not even be able to rent. You really can't rent rifles or bullpup guns too often. Anyhow, that was a pretty cool event, and it was nice to meet up with Pink Panther again. So aside from that, though, we've got Tombstone Territorial Days this weekend, or maybe they're happening right now, really not sure. The city of Tombstone, Arizona, though, does a couple of events throughout the year, and they give the month's themes. So I think this month is Territorial Days. Looks like then we have on September 30th would have been the the Texas International Firearms Festival. Very similar show to this bullpup shoot that I went to. However, instead of being in the middle of nowhere, it was in Austin, Texas, and unfortunately it's no longer happening. So it was an interesting event, and it was the third of its kind that I'm aware of, but and it lasted for 3 or 4 years, but it's due to various reasons not going to be around anymore. I'll leave it in the calendar just as a reminder, though, that it was a cool event, and somebody should pick up the reins and do something similar, except somewhere better, like Las Vegas, I think. Let's see, Gun Rights Policy Conference is coming up in Dallas on October 1st. I mentioned it before, I'll mention it again. Money is power. If you believe that and you agree and you've got any amount of money, consider showing up at the Gun Rights Policy Conference. We are living in a time of apathy. I can tell you personally, every time I go into a gun shop and have any kind of meaningful conversation with the people behind the counter, they cannot appreciate enough the concept of driving around and rallying the troops to go to your local gun shops. Just be aware of your local gun shops. Realize that your local gun shops are your resource. They're the last things we have when it comes time to reload and to keep our guns running. Anyway, so the same way that I think I see a little glimmer in the eyes of the gun shop owners when you walk in at times like this, when there's this massive apathy, I suspect that the Gun Rights Policy Conference is going to be a dead year because nobody cares and there's no danger. So nobody's, calling anyone to action, and everyone is sitting around enjoying themselves, which is fine. But I think that, again, the Gun Rights Policy Conference is probably going to be kind of boring and dry this year. At least it's not going to have the enthusiasm it might when we're on attack or defending ourselves. Unfortunately, that's the times when they get the most active. So I really think that by showing up this year, in a year when it's not going to be real active, is the best time you could possibly use your money to show these groups personally that there's people out there. And they're going to expect, I think the same as I do, that no one's going to show up this year and no one's going to give a crap. And then they're going to have to decide, okay, I just spent all this time and effort showing up, 30 years in a row to this show. And the one time when we have the best possible scenario to move legislation through, I can't rally the troops. They've been worn out. They've been, fear-mongered too much, and now they're just sick of it. They don't see themselves as under attack, so they're taking it easy. And that's going to be tough, because then it means our groups, those leaders of those groups, are going to go home, and they're going to, go home with a sour opinion of what we are out here supporting them. However, again, if you've got the means and any about an opportunity to get to the Gun Rights Policy Conference, it's 2 days in October 1st. I think it's October 29th and October 1st or something. But anyway, check out the date specifically. Doesn't cost anything to attend. You just have to show up. And not only are you showing up, but you're given physical support. You're showing up, you're being in the room to allow those individuals to know that there are people out who care. So if you can do it, I would highly encourage you to, if you can do one thing this year, that's the thing I'd recommend. Then we got the Ohio Cartridge Show, which is on October 6th up in Ohio somewhere. I just put that in the list because I was really curious about checking it out, hoping that somebody will see it in the list there and check it out and take some pictures and report back to us. I doubt I'll be able to attend it. We got the Trinities Tour, which is the location where the first atomic bomb was detonated. That's available twice a year, just on a single Saturday. You're able to meet up at the museum there, and they'll drive you back into the I guess it's a missile base, and check out the place where they ignited that first one, or whatever they do, started that, launch. I guess what do you call it?
Detonated the first atomic bomb.
Yeah. Then we got the Knob Creek machine gun shoot coming up in October, and of course Big Sandy follows up as a bigger and better one out in Arizona. Then you got the National Association of Sporting Good Wholesalers exposition. I forget where that is. I think it's in Missouri on October 17th. Very much like SHOT Show, but for sporting goods stores. So they still have all the guns and everything, but less manufacturing and materials and some of that stuff, and maybe a little bit more fishing and that kind of thing. Then we got the Big Sandy I mentioned. Then we have the Arizona Citizens Defense League, is our Arizona organization for freedom, and they have an annual meeting each year. Of course, I put it into the calendar. I encourage anybody to post the list or the links to your state's group meetings like this. I know that Cycle has done it for his Connecticut one, and again, for all kinds of reasons, not only the people that might see this, but for internet, technical reasons, it's always a good idea to link your events that you feel passionately about, the events that matter. Link those all over the internet. It's not always about the eyeballs. It's about the computers, the robots that are looking at the internet and seeing how valuable a link is based on how often it's being spread around. So you do a lot of good by letting people know about these local organization meetings that may not have immediate return. You might not, just because you put up a link doesn't mean you're going to get someone else sitting down at that meeting, but it does mean that that meeting gets more reach. So it's definitely worth your effort. And then finally, we have the world's largest gun show, which happens twice a year in Oklahoma. And it's one of the places that the Gun Channels people choose to meet up at. We hope to have a table at it, a Gun Channels table this year. So if it's something you're able to attend and you're interested, then let us know. And depending on how everything works with the tour and everything else, one of us should be there and hosting a table so that the members of Gun Channels and stuff have a place to sit down for a bit if you need to and put some stuff. If you buy a bunch of heavy ammo or something, you'll have a place to put it. You don't have to walk all the way back out to your car. And then, of course, we'll let the people know about Gun Channels and how cool it is. Maybe even have like a live thing going or something while we're there. I think they had internet.
That's going to be very cool.
Yeah, it's something to do. And, there's going to be more stuff in the calendar. We take this segment, though, each week to go through and look at what's posted there. Again, anytime you'd like, add something to that calendar. Just go, as a member of Gun Channels, scroll up to the top of any page, click on resources, and add something to the calendar. If you can always edit it if the event changes or something. Even if it's canceled, I like to just edit it because you still want to let people know it's there. And just because they weren't able to do it because of rain or something this year, still get all those benefits of posting it.
For sure.
All right. Well, I would say anything. I don't see anybody posted any links or anything to events. All right, so we'll go back over. I have to go to the restroom, so I'm going to do that. I don't know what we want to go to next.
What do we got left?
I'll be dead air while I'm going to the bathroom, but I have to go to the bathroom.
What do we got? Yeah. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, we still have gun of the day. Today I chose corner shot. And it's a weapon accessory, but I look at it as innovative. So anyway, it's a weapon accessory invented by Lieutenant Colonel Amos Golan of Israeli Defense Forces in cooperation with American inventors. Was designed in the early 2000s for SWAT teams and special forces in hostile situations, usually involving terrorists and hostages. Its purpose is similar to that of the periscope rifle. It allows its operator to both see and attack armed target, allowing the operator to counterattack. Let me go over here real quick and get the screen share going.
So this is like a gun with a hinge in the middle. You can poke around the corner, eh?
Yeah. Let me see. I don't know. Hold on. Let me put it on the screen. All right. No. That's the one I was laughing at that one earlier. So I put a little cat stuffed animal on it. But let's see. Get a decent picture here. So yeah, like that.
So it's basically, what is that, a Glock or?
Yeah, they put a pistol on the end, so that's why they consider it an accessory. So they put a pistol on it, and see right there, there's a little mechanism that leads to the trigger. So when you pull the trigger, that pulls this trigger.
Huh.
And then they got you on video around the corner. So this down here, well, maybe that's a flashlight, but one of these two things are a camera. So you could see right around the corner.
That's kind of neat. I think I've seen some videos on that.
Yeah, it's not the newest innovation, and I'm sure people have talked about it before, but I definitely think that it's something cool. And if they can get some kind of a rifle caliber type of, I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Corner shot.
Corner shot ain't a gun, it's just a stock.
Trying to recall off the top of my head if I ever seen this in any movies or anything. I don't know.
They were in that Top Shot show once.
Yeah, and what's the crap? Advanced.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it.
That on my side.
Oh, this. No.
Is Jimmy sure is that my side?
Shows.
What was that? I didn't hear you.
Oh, you were breaking up. I don't know if it's my internet or probably my internet then.
Oh no, it might have been me.
Have you guys shot a corner shot?
No.
No.
Have you?
Yeah, they've had them at Media Day. That's why I figured you might have shot one. There's other things too. I mean, the corner shots are okay, but like you're saying, you can't shoot a rifle that way. The recoil's goofy. You can shoot 9mm that way. I guess you could shoot that 37mm tear gas thing that way. But it's just a pistol grip, right? So it's just a Glock that has a camera on it, like you're saying. So it's sort of like a weird double bullpup bendy Glock. So you can't put a rifle up there if they have, I don't know how the hell you'd support it. So they have other things, which are basically prisms that go behind your aim point, and they allow you to hold your gun like a regular rifle out around a corner, like that guy in that picture down there is doing, like that guy in all the armor. But if you put a search in there for like a corner prism optic or something, I forgot what it was called, but you would put it behind an aim point and then just hold your whole rifle out there, and that was an option that I preferred. I don't know if that'll work. No. So I have no idea what it was called. Maybe rifle or something. Add rifle to that. But anyway, so then you would kind of look from the side of your rifle, and then it would be pointed forward. So like you're right, you'd hold your rifle out in front of you, and it would be pointed to the left. You'd be looking at your rifle and seeing out the front, but not shouldered.
Yeah, I have seen those. There was also some kind of system where you could, you actually had your visor would actually show you what your rifle was pointing at.
And that would be the next level from this. These optical prisms, basically just mirrors with some kind of fancy, just, whatever, somehow you can angle, see, not mirrored. They flip it so that you're not being backwards. When you normally look through a mirror, you're backwards, So anyhow, I think definitely the evolution of that would be like what Bob's saying. You just leave a camera on your gun and have some sort of a viewfinder on your front of your face. Then you can hold your gun in any direction. Who cares if it's left or right or whatever?
Yeah.
Yep. That'd be very cool.
And is this what you're talking about, the angle sight? That's really cool.
Similar for sure, but that's probably the fourth version I've seen of it or something like it.
Oh, okay.
But that's definitely the concept. Never seen it on a pistol. That looks stupid, but for being able to just put your rifle around a barrier and do something, and we'd shoot them. I mean, you could shoot. It's definitely easy to shoot like that thing. Like it's easy to shoot an AR-15 that way.
Yeah, I could see it more beneficial for rifle, especially when we were talking earlier about the whole recoil management thing. I could definitely, yeah.
And I don't know why that guy's holding it like he's a spaz, but you would basically put it on your rifle example, is if you are on the back of that car's bumper or something, you know, you can still hold it against cover. You don't need to like hold it out in space like that guy's doing. I don't know what he's trying to do. But, you know, you could hold it up next to that bucket, and then whoever's downrange would have only seen your bucket and then, you know, like a muzzle. They wouldn't have seen your arms and your hands and everything like that guy's doing.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's cool too because you don't got to flip around the optic like it's made, so that's cool.
Yeah, I can see the big advantage.
I don't know how much time we got. We could talk about the story about that thing. So I forget the name of the company, or what the name of the optic was, but the name of the company, or the company itself, I forget the name of the company too, but the company itself had, their job was to like buy stuff and then sell it to the government, put cage numbers on it, sell it to the government. So at some point they went beyond just buying like multiples of something, and they like bought designs, they like bought products to have. They didn't develop them though, so it was like separate than like a developer who created a product and then ran with it. These people were just already working with the government, and they were just adding new inventory to their catalog basically, and then just selling it to the government was their client. So and they didn't make, I mean, that was just their thing. They didn't really have any regular customers because their stuff was all going to the government. Anyway, so we walked around SHOT Show, and we had known them for a few years. This was probably like 2008. The last year it was at the convention center in Vegas. And we had known them for a while, so it was one of the people that I stopped at to say hey or whatever. And they're like, hey, we got our shoot this year. Are you going to go to our shoot? And we'd already been going to the Media Day shoot, which is the day before SHOT Show. And maybe people don't know maybe, but there's other shoots besides the media shoot. And there'll be private shoots like this one, or big elaborate, you know, alternative shoots. Some of them, I've been to one that was military and police only, so you can't take any pictures at it because it's like team members and stuff there. So lots of different shoots. They tell us, oh, we got our own shoot, and blah, blah, blah. So we're like, okay, well, you know, it's neat to be invited to something like that, but you're also leaving SHOT Show. You know, it's not the day before SHOT Show, it's during SHOT Show. So you have to make a decision. Is it worth leaving SHOT Show for hours to go do this? You know, am I going to get enough video or something to make it worth my while? Or what am I going to miss at SHOT Show? We didn't really take that into account. So we decided, okay, we're going to do it. And we signed up or whatever. They had a limited number of people, I guess, that could go out there. Anyway, long story short, nobody else signed up. Or at least if anybody else did sign up, they blew it off for the same reasons. Like, you're leaving SHOT Show to go to this thing. And they either didn't think there was enough, purpose or what. But yeah, so me and Thumbs were the only two people on the bus. And we get basically VIP treatment, and we were the only coverage of that product that year. So they had little grab bags that they were planning on giving like dozens of people. That worked out in our favor, as well as all the ammo they had brought for everybody. So it was an interesting opportunity. We had a range to ourselves on Ellis Air Force Base with this, like, let's say they had brought supermodel chicks to entertain, and there was only two of us to entertain. So that was kind of fun. And then like all the swag and stuff and like ammo. So it was like, wow, this is tough. Should I partake in the libations and celebration, or should I partake in all this ammo that you brought? But either way, like, you want us to use it all, because they also needed, they had anticipated their marketing and stuff, right? They needed people shooting bullets. They bought all this ammo, you know, that was part of like their project. So anyway, it was very interesting thing. We became great friends with them for lots of reasons, and you know, we were the only ones showed interest in their product almost, and willing to explain it to people. But then also just because they were, you know, we weren't one of two of like 24 people. We were the only two people they had to talk to the whole time. So it was interesting, and I'd highly recommend, you know, if you go to an event like that, consider those kind of shows for both sides. I mean, it's not always going to work out that way for sure. And even if it does, I mean, a couple of hours worth of hanging out and having a good time, is that really what you go to SHOT Show for? I mean, you're not going on vacation. You go to SHOT Show to get work done. And that was a sacrifice. You know, we sacrificed hours worth of actual content. That was our angle shot. I think that was what they called it back then. Anyway, very expensive product. That little prism thing, it cost like $800 or something. So it was definitely out of the reach of anybody. But they needed to have it in action in people's hands to show, like, you know, here's somebody who's never shot it before and they're accurate with it. Here's some girl who's never shot a gun before and she can shoot this thing.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Pretty lucky for you and Thumbs.
Yeah, really. That's awesome. But that's, a good lesson learned though, go to those little events, That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, that was our gun of the day, even though it wasn't a gun, it was just a stock. So then, what are we doing for gun shop of the day?
Well, you're out on the road. What did you see?
I haven't really been stopping at gun shops. I've been stopping at gas stations and auto parts stores. So let's talk about auto parts stores. Now let's talk about gun shops. So I'm going to do this one. Let's do one that I haven't done yet. Should I go to R Guns? Because Jimmy said he had not heard of it, but maybe I'm crazy. But if there's anybody out there who's listening now, heard of R Guns in Illinois? Dano and I were driving around yesterday looking at gun shops, and I saw it on the map, like Google or whatever. Said it was there, but it was closed. So today when I'm dragging the truck around or the van around, went past it and it was open. Or I think it's open. I'm sure it's open on Monday. So I'm wondering if that's one that is worth it. Because for some reason I'm thinking, I guess the reason I'm asking is I think that it's like Bud's Guns or Cheaper Than Dirt, or like one that people have either love or hate relationship with.
I'm seeing that. I'm looking it up right now on the Googles, and I'm getting about half and half of good ratings versus bad ratings, and it has a 2.5 on Yelp.
And that's 2.5 out of 3. That doesn't sound very good.
Yeah. Yeah, but there is like one right here. I won't read all of them, but there's one that says, I don't want to say it's as good as it gets, but I'm very happy. So I don't know. I also could have been somebody that works there, an extra account.
Or yeah, you never know, or just got a good deal or something.
Yeah, but the reviews are about half and half though. So I mean, I don't know. I've gone to places before where I've checked the reviews on them and they're half and half and they were great. And I've been to places where the same thing and they suck. So I don't know. I would stop if it's on your if you're able to do it and it's not going to put you out. I would do it.
Yeah, it's pretty close. So I'll probably go check it out. Otherwise, though, I'll give you a report. So we've done, I think, 5 or 6 shops in San Antonio with Edge, and then a couple of 3 ranges out there. And then I was able to check out just a couple here in Illinois. So yeah, with the card problems and everything, it's been a real pain. So I'm hoping to be able to check out a couple more here. And then without time constraints, hopefully be able to spend more time. But the thing is, though, I had planned to mosey, right? And what, they can't hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So I had planned to mosey. So as I was driving through Arkansas in daylight hours, during the day, and on a Saturday, right? Or was that Friday? On a Friday, everything was going to be open, right? Well, there was no gun shops. Like, I was surprised, like no gun shops. I don't think I saw one gun shop. When I went through Missouri, there were 2, but the way, it was on this type of situation where there's like a 2-lane divided highway. It's not a real big road. It's just that there was like a giant median in between the left and the back, going forwards or backwards. And the turnouts were like miles apart. And I was enough of a time restraint that I couldn't afford to do a 2-mile turnaround or whatever. But anyway, I only saw 2 in all of Missouri, and those were close to St. Louis, and then nothing in Arkansas. So I don't know if they just don't have signage, or maybe they're off the road, right? Maybe they just don't bother to put it on the main road, or they're FFLs out of their homes or something, maybe.
Squib was saying, are you talking I-80 through Omaha and Lincoln on the way back?
That would be Nebraska.
Oh.
Right? Omaha.
Omaha.
Wait. Lincoln, Nebraska, and Omaha, Nebraska, Omaha. I don't know what that is. But anyway, I've never taken I-80. I'll have to go look at a map here and see what I-80 is. I don't think I've taken I-80 ever. Okay, so 80 goes from Chicago to across Iowa to across Nebraska to kind of Denver, I guess. Not really. Cheyenne, Wyoming. So I've taken that road east once, east one time. and I got a ticket on it. I don't like that road. But yeah, I have no idea. I might. I doubt it highly, only because the only thing, there's something I would, no, I'm not going to Nebraska for sure. So no, it would be highly doubtful. More than likely, I would be going across on whatever Kansas road is, 70 instead of 80, but can't put it past anything. So if I do, though, I'm assuming you've got some shops or something in Nebraska to look at. Feel free to put them. We do have the gunshowloophole.com, and there is a link there to suggest a location. And one of the things we'll be doing when we got downtime like this is checking those out. You know, having no real route in mind and then telling people, hey, send us some ideas for locations. You know, we're just going to get all kinds of random stuff. So now that we at least are in Chicago, we can kind of do something to see how, you know, what options are near here and which routes we might take. So we'll be able to start using some of those suggestions.
Yeah, it's kind of it, and that's the neat thing about this is, you know, the viewers can help kind of maybe not plan the route, but at least give us suggestions that may alter the route.
Well, for sure, and at least it influence the route, right? So if I'm going to go this way or that way, and there's 3 gun shops this way and an unknown that way, then that gives me some indication of which way is going to be more useful.
Yep, for sure.
All right. So that was kind of a shitty gun shop of the day, but trust me, I'm going to have some downtime here and nothing else to do. So I'll be editing some videos and we'll be getting some gun shop reviews up. And then that's the whole point is we'll do the gun shop reviews as we're driving around. We'll turn them into videos and then review those videos here on the show. And the goal is to do a different one every day. It was working pretty good up until San Antonio. And then the hurricane mixed with the delay on the cards, mixed with the water pump, mixed with this other issues are you know, best laid plans. So we'll keep going. That was the gun shop of the day. We did a gun of the day. We need a gun movie of the day.
Oh, we have a gun movie there, don't we?
Yeah, that one I put Boondock Saints in. Either one of you guys seen that?
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure I have, yeah. What's the description on it?
Let me screen
It's the 2 brothers or something.
share here.
Kind of religious, Irish.
Yeah, the brothers were like religious. I don't know what Catholic or whatever they're religious, but they were 2 brothers and they were just, you know, working, hanging out, whatever, Irish dudes, and they got some type of run-in with the Russian mob or something. It's been a while since I've seen it. And then they took them out and then realized that they can go out and fight crime and started killing people. Criminals.
Right.
Yeah, they decided to like enact revenge for something, and then we're like, oh yeah, that worked out pretty easy, and then it kept going.
Yeah. Yeah, like that was that's where the religious part came in. Like they felt like that's what they were meant to do or whatever. But yeah, pretty entertaining movie though. Like I said, I've seen it a few times, but it was a really long time ago. I was just kind of thinking of gun movies in my head. So they definitely have a lot of guns in here. Starts off as mostly Berettas, but there's a little gun room where there's a bunch of stuff at too. Pretty good movie.
Yeah, the rope was important.
Yeah, yeah. You always need rope.
Yep. Yeah, I see there's a Taurus.
I guess they were using the Berettas when they needed to put a suppressor on it and then just grab the Taurus for like background pieces, like extras.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool though. I don't know, the dual wielding Beretta, silenced Berettas was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Well, this was my favorite part when the dad came out and he had all them. Well, you didn't know he was the dad at the time.
Yeah.
That little chest rig that he has where he had 6 guns on, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the dad was former IRA or something, I think.
Well, what? He was the Duke or something like that. And this guy, he was weird in it. I don't know. He was good, but he was weird. There it was. That was the beginning of the movie. That was the Russians that they got into it with. That like they were like, oh, we should fight crime for a living.
Yeah, Russians love their Desert Eagles.
Little baby 45.
Little pair of ordnance. Those are pretty cool little guns, actually.
That was the weird part where he dressed up like a girl. I didn't know how to feel about that. That was weird.
As long as you weren't attracted to him.
No, I was like, should I shut the movie off or should I finish it? Oh yeah, I forgot he had that little shotgun too. Oh yeah, that's right. They had to get him out of jail because he was like, yeah. So I would give this movie thumbs up. Definitely something to check out.
Yeah, for sure. Me too.
One or two thumbs up.
I'll go two thumbs up.
Yeah, I'll go two because it's something you should probably. I don't know. I think people should check it out. It's something entertaining.
Yeah, it's not my favorite movie of all times, but I'm going to give it two also because so many people, I've heard it as so many people's either favorite or top three. So I think as a gun guy, you're doing yourself a disjustice. Even if you don't like the movie, if you hate the movie somehow, like you should at least understand it because otherwise you're not going to be able to catch all kinds of references to it or whatever.
Oh yeah. And this is, like I was saying earlier, this is that gun room I was talking about. You could probably pause on this scene and spend 20 minutes alone just trying to look at all the guns they got in that room.
You get a Dishka.
Yeah. There's the rope.
Yeah. Yeah, they had lots of weird guns in that gun room.
Now, I don't know. I don't know if you guys saw the second one. I'm in a hard place to say if I like the first. Usually I would say I like the first movie better, but the second one was pretty good too. So they would come in close.
So here's where I am. I liked the first one, not as much as some people, but I liked it. And then all I ever heard was the second one is just as good. And then there's people that say the second one is better even. So I figured every once in a while I find a movie like that, I won't watch it. Because I figure if something happens and I want to watch a movie that I ain't seen before, because that's tougher and tougher all the time, I'm leaving that as a movie that I might like that I have never seen before. So I don't know if you guys do that, but that's one of my movies like that.
Nah, I would have to watch it because see, I'm the type of person when I watch a movie, I don't know, I get into the story. So if they have a sequel, I kind of am like, oh, if I was interested in the movie, that is. I'm kind of like, oh, I wonder how that, story ended up, or whatever.
No, that makes sense. And that's the thing. It wasn't that much of a movie to me. Like, I have to see the second one. Like, I can't wait. That's where I was. It was kind of medium for me. I figured that was a good one to leave that in.
Yeah. The second one kind of made me, like, giggle a little bit more. Like, more of a kind of a humor.
A little more comedy.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was the movie of the day there, Boondocks.
Every day we try to feature a movie, something you haven't seen in a while, or maybe if you're young and something you ain't seen yet. The idea is to, we're all listening and watching stuff on Netflix and all that. Let people know, share them. Yeah. Also, if you find something, I've done this where I'll dig around and there's those weird, like, hey, we got $50, let's make a movie. Those weird ones that are on like Netflix a lot, that are made in Europe or something. Like some of those, most of them suck, but some of those are really neat. So I figure this is a place where we can talk about some of those. There's obviously classics and stuff that needs to be addressed every once in a while. And then, everything in between. So again, part of this show is its interactivity. We're trying to make this the new media, which means we don't just take old fashioned stuff and put it on the internet. That's not new media. New media is completely changing it up. So the audience is part of the show. And with that in mind, anytime you have a list of movies or something you want us to highlight during that segment of the show, email us at dailygunshow@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to include those. In fact, most of the 400 something shows we've got here, movies came in from suggestions. So we always appreciate that. If you want to do something like put a theme, like a hidden theme even, let us know, and we won't tell people the theme, and then we'll let people guess. Or if you want to, I don't know, do any other kind of playing around like that, feel free.
Yep, for sure. A lot of those little movies can actually be more entertaining than the big ones.
I think so. The big ones can look better, but half the time the plot is boring and lame because they're trying not to offend anybody. And then, yeah, they all rely on the effects. They're in the big stars. That's the other thing. I don't care. I sometimes I'll watch a movie and I'll be like, this guy's making so much money to stand there. Like, it just drives me nuts, and I don't even like the movie anymore because it's just, they could have had just some regular guy doing the movie. It's not, sometimes you don't need these actors that they don't do anything special or extra. Sometimes they're distracting, having somebody. I was thinking of that Mummy one, the new Mummy, which isn't that good, but Tom Cruise isn't that good, and isn't that him? And he definitely is not good in this movie. So him trying to be funny or whatever don't work. I'm like, they could have picked some no-name guy, saved whatever his paycheck is, and made this movie for either less money or better, right? And just had some guy in there. Like, I definitely didn't need to see Tom Cruise.
Like, they could have put a lot of Tom Cruise's salary towards making the movie a little bit better or something.
Yeah,
but,
I did a separate movie for the Jekyll and Hyde or whatever, or a separate movie for something else, instead of like spending all that money on Tom Cruise and having to melt 3 movies together.
Yeah, and those big time actors can be fickle sometimes, so they don't even know if he's going to come back for like the sequel or whatever. They're trying to create a universe out of it. So I mean, I don't know.
That's the ultimate.
I think that was
spend a bunch of money to get him to start it, and then he doesn't even want to come back, so they wasted it all.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't know. I've always liked B movies. They're interesting to me. Sometimes I'll find comedy in like a super serious movie, and I'll just think it's the funniest movie.
Oh yeah, there's a few of them out there. Those are the ones that become cult classics.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're pretty much wrapped up. We just need what's happening tonight on Gun Channels.
What happened last night on Yankees Chat?
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Because somehow something got donated to us, so I definitely want to say thanks to whoever was watching that. I'll have to go watch and find out what happened. But Yankee texted me last night sometime and said he wanted my PayPal info, and then it looks like some money just came over. So I don't know if I'm talking to those people or not, but thanks very much for that. That was almost, let's see, 1/12 of the 1/12? No, 1/10. About 1/10 of the transmission last night. So whatever happened, I appreciate that. Thanks everybody.
Oh, really? That's nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, $250. Appreciate it. All right, so we were about to talk about what's on tonight. So what is today? Monday?
Yep.
It is. And we didn't give gun history either, since it's a pretty significant day. But let's talk about what's on tonight. It's Monday, so that means it'll be, why can't I think of Monday? It's Matt, his nerd show tonight. And then HVS does Locked and Loaded, and sometimes we like shooting, post the show on Mondays as well. I think that's it. And then we'll be back here tomorrow at our time, but before that, let's see, we should do it this way. Early Watch starts the day, right? And then the show starts up at noon Eastern.
Yep.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, so otherwise it's history. So 9/11 happened, a bunch of terrorists are jerks. And do we have anything else on today's history?
I don't got nothing.
I think yesterday was something. Yesterday was the anniversary since 13, if I remember right. Let me look at my phone. But the anniversary of Colorado, the residents of Colorado removing from office two of the legislatures, two of the representatives who did not represent them and brought in the anti-magazine capacity legislation. So yesterday marked the anniversary of Coloradans, people of Colorado, removing those people from office. And that would have been 13. So that would have been 4 years anniversary. So we get pessimistic sometimes thinking about what happens to us. Nothing happens to us. Stuff happens. And then we decide whether or not we're going to allow it to exist or if we're going to change it. And the first step of changing those magazine bans, capacity bans, were to remove the jerks who did not represent anybody. And they did so. So we have the power. It's just ours to either use or not. So definitely want to keep anniversaries like that alive, and it was a defeat, but it was then a victory. So we don't have all victories, but we definitely want to remember those that we do have.
Yeah, for sure.
I was just peeking over at the history real quick, and there's nothing really substantially gun related for today. But in 1916, the Star Spangled Banner was sung in the beginning of a baseball game for the first time in Cooperstown, New York.
Right. I read that somewhere just recently.
I did not know that.
Very cool. That's where your national anthem came from. Or that's when it was first sung.
Yeah, it didn't come from there. Yeah, I get you.
Home, you know. But yeah, that's very cool.
All right, and then of course, it's 9/11, so I don't know if we need to talk about that. Everybody knows what's going on with that, and I'm sure all kinds of things probably happened more at the time. I saw it this morning. Stuff was happening on the anniversary at the times that it happened, right? 8 and 9 in the morning.
Well, yeah. There's like different hours that have their anniversaries or whatever, like when it was hit and when the first one went down. Yeah,
I think it was like 8, 10, and then 10 something. So like first tower, second tower, and then Pentagon. Then an hour later, 11 something. People in Pennsylvania, the plane. Yep. So yeah, a bunch of stuff, and it solidified the country, and we're growing past it. But obviously, we want to remember, and then remember the people that ran to the smoke and not away.
For sure. Yeah, the first responders.
Well, with that, I guess we'll be back tomorrow. Thanks again for everybody for all the support. We're here in Illinois on the tour. We'll be doing some updates. I've got some time now, unfortunately, to work on computer stuff. So we'll be posting some updates and some videos, and we will continue to keep everybody up to date on that, as well as continuing to check out new shows, new gun shops for this show every day at noon Eastern.
Yeah. So I guess we'll run our quote. Today it's by Winston Churchill. But before that, I'd like to remind everybody, please like, share, subscribe. Support us on Patreon. Links at the bottom of the description of the video. Anyway, by Winston Churchill. Socialism is a philosophy of failure, the credo of ignorance, and the gospel of envy. Its inherent virtue is the equal sharing of misery.
Well, before we cut it off, though, Dano jumped in, so let's hit it down.
Never let it be said, you can't be just a little bit too late. And on that note, I'll turn it over to Bob.
Hey, since we're in here, though, I was just telling guys earlier that didn't know if the link works, so you got the link and everything still. So then maybe in a day or so, we can have you on and talk about the show and the gun shop.
Sure. We'll talk about that off air, but yeah.
Right on. Thanks for jumping in. And yeah, it was a pleasure driving around with you yesterday. Thanks again for all your assistance. It was very much appreciated. If people don't know, Dano drove an hour over to meet me. We went to a gun show. We drove around looking at a gun shop. Dano bought me lunch, and then we were on our way to another gun shop. The van completely died, having the transmission replaced right now. But Dano then drove an Uber, paid for an Uber himself to get back to his own car. Then he drove all the way back over to get me, and then catered me all the way back over to where I'm staying. So Dano definitely went above and beyond. I really do appreciate it. On top of all that, he bought stuff off of me, so he's really helping out a lot. So thanks a lot, Dano.
No problem.
All right. Well, let's. I don't know if everybody heard the quote, but anyway, it's Winston Churchill's: "Socialism is a philosophy of failure, the creed of ignorance, and the gospel of envy." It's inherent virtue is equal sharing of misery. So. Going to
Was Bob breaking up really bad for anybody else, or was that just me?
Oh, see, I thought that was me because I thought I'd been hearing people break up all day. But yeah, Dan, Bob just.
Huh.
I think he was waiting for the sound effect.
Yeah, that's it. We can end her now.
Yeah, that's what he said. All right.
Well,
All right, cool. So
type it more than once. The van is in getting a new transmission right now, $3,000. It should be done Wednesday or Thursday. So I have completely inconvenienced everybody here and gone way over any kind of budget. So living my life here. It's having fun. So we'll continue to do the show though, and I'll do updates. We'll probably do a van chat or something to update everybody on the intricacies of it.
All right.
cool. Well, thanks again, everybody, for stopping by, and we will see you tomorrow.
See you guys.
Guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching gunwebsites.com.